Hello, my journey walkers, and welcome to Walk It Out Wednesdays with Coach T. That would be me. And this is where I try to give you words that you can live by so that as we are walking out this journey called life together, we get better at that walk, okay? So, this is week 2 of my Walk It Out Wednesday series that is dedicated 100% to the healing and restoration of women. So, last week we began the series with embracing our own self-worth. So, I want to encourage you to go back and watch the replay because there are 2 exercises that I really believe will help you define who you are and usher you into the new awareness of your self-worth. So make sure you go back and watch the replay, okay? We are still establishing identity, and tonight we're going to be talking about being yourself and being unapologetic as you walk out your authenticity in your everyday life. Now, building from last week, now that we have this newfound knowledge of self and we've embraced our self-worth, what are we doing with it is the question. Well, I ain't gonna leave it up to you to answer. I'm gonna tell you what you should be doing with it. Number 1, you need to be letting your light shine for the world to see, okay? The world has painted this picture that women are angry and we can't get along with each other, that men aren't necessarily attracted to overly intelligent or highly successful women. And for some, that's actually true, but not all. I have several groups of ladies that I get along with just fine. And I'm not the only woman out here that has that testimony. But the media and the press and the TV programming that we see and we watch and love to watch, it just doesn't promote that because that's not what sells. They'd rather have you believing that fighting and cussing and being at odds with each other is what the norm looks like. And that's just not the truth. Unfortunately, what it has done is it has created this negative narrative for women, especially Black and brown women, women of color, because that ugly narrative actually exists around here in this world, we've learned to downplay ourselves. And we've done it at a deficit to our own success in life. Too many times I have either done it myself or watched other women do this. They downplay their accomplishments and dumb down trying to get a man's interest, or they sell themselves short in the corporate world and boardrooms where they have a seat at the table for fear of being labeled as overly aggressive. I don't even know what that is. Or they dim down their lights in a room so that their mate can feel important. Like, why would you do that? Because he's not doing it for you. Or they shrink their personality because they're afraid that no one is going to appreciate their uniqueness. Ladies, every time we engage in these type of behaviors, we rob ourselves of the true we rob others of the true experience of our authentic selves. On the flip side of that, we cheat ourselves out of being able to make genuine connections with people that want to love and honor and respect us for who we are, not for who they think they want us to be. Because everybody ain't trying to remake you over, okay? Don't make me over. Thank you very much. Altering who you are just to keep the peace or to be accepted or to avoid being rejected, that's not the winning strategy for success. How do I know this? That's not how Fortune 500 companies gained the title in their shared industry. You know how many people are in their industry doing the same thing that they do? They don't have a monopoly. Let me tell you what they do have. They're not hiding themselves, and they're not pretending that they aren't great at what they have at their niche. They're not pretending that they haven't perfected their craft. They're not running around here cowering in the face of their competitors. What they are doing instead is they are promoting themselves with confidence, and they are delivering the best of who they are, everything that all of their resources, their gifts, their talent, all of it, and they're using it to differentiate themselves, and that's how they have gained this success. So being different isn't a sentence. It's not a penalty. It's not a deficit. It's not a liability. It's actually an asset to you because it's the one thing that nobody else has that you do. That's what authenticity does. It differentiates us from other people in the shared world that we are living in, honey. It is that same authenticity that eliminates the need to compete. So as long as we are being our true, authentic selves, no one can duplicate us. Often replicated, but never duplicated because there's only one me. So no matter what your individual niche is, your offering will always still be unique. I don't care how many people do the same thing that you do. They don't do it like you. You know why? Because they are missing the one component that you have. Nobody else has it but you. And you know what that is? You. There is enough space in this world for each and every one of us to have our very own spots to shine in. And we don't have to do anything special, make any special efforts to be noticed. It's not necessary because when you're operating 100% in your God-given lane, no one can take what's meant for you. And you will stand out to the right connections and be recognized, and they will choose you at the right time. Period. Okay? Number 2, you've got to free yourself from this people pleaser mindset. You know, I'm always amazed at how we can be so confident in our abilities and we can be so stable in our decisions and firm in our philosophies, yet we are willing to throw it out of the window the moment we think, not the moment we know, the moment we think someone else isn't going to like it. But why do we place so much value on what others think or say or suggest rather than our own thoughts and words and ideas? Why do we do that? Well, I'm not an expert, but I got 3 top reasons why I think we do that. And I'm going to tell you somewhere embedded in this, what I'm going to talk in these 3, I'm going to tell you how to dispel them. Okay. The first is this. We just want to be liked. Everybody wants to be liked. It bothers some people not to be liked by everybody. Let me just tell you something. Newsflash, PSA. Okay. Y'all ready? Everybody ain't going to like you. And if you go ahead on and be honest about the situation, you don't like everybody. Here is an eye-opening fact that I bet you guys won't believe, but we as humans are not expected to like everyone. God commissioned us to love everyone. And please understand that it is only by his grace, it is only by his spirit that we are able to look past our personal feelings and thoughts about someone and yet love them, okay? But even in that, it doesn't mean that we have to go around in life befriending everyone. It is quite possible for you to love the people of God, to love people with the love of Jesus Christ and yet only simply be cordial with them. That's it. That's all. Unless, of course, God asks you to actually help them in some way, be it in word or in a deed. But we ain't got to hang out. We ain't got to exchange numbers. We ain't got to kiki and laugh and tell each other secrets. We ain't even got to like each other's personality. We don't. None of that is a requirement. So let's just go ahead and accept the fact that we are not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And vice versa. So I'm gonna need y'all to type in the comments right now. I'm not for everybody, and everybody ain't for me. I'm not for everybody, and everybody ain't for me. And I need us to learn to accept that reality without viewing it as some type of personal attack on you or your character. Joel Osteen taught it best when he said, and it's changed my life forever. I've been using it forever as my mantra. And I got the hiccups, y'all. I'm sorry. If someone doesn't like me, I would never know it. Because as far as I'm concerned, everybody loves me wherever I go. That's what Joel Osteen said. Essentially, what he is actually saying is, it don't matter. It doesn't really matter if people like you or not. You are not responsible for their perception of you. and vice versa. The truth is that it's really not none of your business what they think about you. Additionally, if you are professing salvation and you are committing to living a godly life, Jesus already told you that you wasn't going to be liked by everyone. Why? Because you're divergent, distinct for a purpose. We learned that last week. Go back and watch the video. The second reason is we doubt our ability to make sound decisions. We doubt our abilities to make a sound decision. Again, we can be so firm in our decisions right up until the point when someone we love and respect thinks differently. Consider this. Just because they think differently about your decision doesn't mean that your decision is wrong. And what's more, tripped out is that it doesn't make their suggestion wrong either. How about both of you could actually be right? The real question is, what's right for you? And only you are able to determine that. And how about the next time you find yourself in this situation and you're not sure and you're wavering? How about you go to God and ask him what's best? Because here's how you cannot ever go wrong if you ask him. You can't go wrong if you ask him. He always got the answer. And he not only got an answer, he has the right answer. Number 3, we are constantly comparing ourselves to others. In all of my coaching of women, the one thing that I found to be true is that we are constantly measuring our womanhood and the success of our womanhood by the success of other women. And I think it began with our family matriarchs. We measured our womanhood by the standards of our grandmothers or our great-grandmothers or even our mothers, our aunts. Then it became our teachers at school, the ladies at church, and, the church mothers and the pastors' wives, and, of course, our friends, and unfortunately, even now, today, celebrities on TV. I don't know why we ever listening to none of them. They got their lives all screwed up, Jesus. But we gathered all these concepts of what success as a woman really, really was, and we tried to use it all as words to live by. Instead, it became this big glob of clutter that we can't even pull out one well-rounded pillar to stand on. At no point in time did we ever take a minute and think about why. We never tried to understand why these women did what they did or learn the series of events that led up to them drawing the conclusions that they did. See, that's how you figure out if you can use it or not. You have to understand the why first. Then you'll know if it's food for you, if it's relative to you. Example, I can have 2.5 kids, a big house with a white picket fence, a dog, and 2 luxury cars in the garage, and his and her bikes in the garage, and a husband that cheats and beats me silly. Okay, you on the other hand could have a nice little 2-bedroom, cozy bedroom, nice little cozy 2-bedroom apartment, 1 kid and a used car and a plant, and a boyfriend that loves you with all his heart. And your kid, because he understands y'all come as a package deal. And he is actively working to establish himself with the intention to be a faithful husband to you that would never dream of laying his hands on you to harm you. Who's winning? Who's winning in this situation? Me or you? I would say you were winning, yet you'll be over here nagging this man about how he won't put a ring on it, nagging him about how he can't afford to get you a house, and he got you living in this bedroom, this apartment, and you'll be telling him, what type of man he should be and what type of husband he need to be, not knowing that he need to be more like my husband, and see he over here got her in the lavish house and the cars and all that, not knowing that my husband is utter trash. Because you didn't hear me tell you about how he bought me a bracelet for our anniversary and how he took me to Fiji, for my birthday or something stupid. But I left out the part that he bought me the bracelet because he broke my wrist. That time when I lied to you and told you that I fell on it. And that the only reason he took me to Fiji is because I caught his old ugly end cheating with his secretary. I'm just saying, my point is this. We never really know the full story of someone else's life. Therefore, you can't really compare your life to theirs, nor can you run around here completely patterning yourself after their lives either. Honestly, God is the only person that can give us the blueprint for our lives. Additionally, we have to learn to pattern ourselves after our own God-given intuitions, our own God-given dreams, our own God-given passions, because God actually placed all of those things inside of us so that we would be able to live and flourish and do well, because his thoughts of us are not of evil but are of good, for an expected end that is always good. He's just here to help us use our natural gifts and talents so that he can guide us and make sure that we're using them correctly, effectively. And don't get me wrong, don't tell nobody to Coach T told you you're not supposed to pay attention to other people. You can glean after another woman and get and understand her resources, but you're not supposed to take her life and make it your own. It's for us to take the information and the resources that they give us and incorporate it into our lives in a way where it adds value to our lives. But it's not supposed to make us insecure. Comparison in that regard is the killer of all joy and confidence. Don't be robbed, ladies. Do not be robbed, okay? At the end of the day, we cannot be ashamed nor afraid to give the world the real us. We are all designed to be different. It's what separates us from others. Without it, we'd be like members of the Borg, okay? Having one mind, one sound, one band. This ain't the Borg. This ain't the band at school. This is individuality is what you need. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be assimilated. I kind of like having my individuality. I like knowing that there's nobody else out there like me. We all have a desire to fulfill our need to just simply be. And being unapologetically you is more than sufficient in realizing that. If you are really truly able to embrace both of these lessons, and both last week and this week's lessons, you can declare and decree over your life right now in this moment, my identity has been established. So type that in the chat. My identity has been established. Make that your affirmation this week so that it will sink in to your whole entire spirit and take root. Tune in next week for the third Walk It Out Wednesdays in this series as we prepare for spring cleaning. All right. Remember, I am the Coach T, and to be unapologetically you. All right. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.